Hi everyone, welcome back to Diabetes Every Day, where we're going to continue our series about Can I Eat This? And this has a little modification to it too. We're going to talk about some plant-based products that are out on the market. There's a very high increase of plant-based foods out there, and some people are choosing some different types of milks. And so I wanted to go over to see what is the best choice for somebody with diabetes. Now, let's just do a comparison to the milk that you're familiar with, the dairy milk. 1 cup serving is equal to 12 grams of carbohydrate, 8 grams of protein, 25% vitamin D, and 30% calcium. So we're going to kind of do a comparison with these plant-based milks based on that. So all of these serving sizes are 1 cup or 8 ounces that I'm talking about. And let's start over here with almond milk. I know a lot of people are choosing almond milk, plant-based, 2 grams of carbohydrate, 1 gram of protein, 25% vitamin D, and 30% calcium, just like the dairy milk. So good to know. What I'm looking at is specifically the carb, the protein, the vitamin D, and the calcium in all of these milks, because those are the really most important things for our meal planning. That's the almond milk. Then we have the soy milk, which is also a plant-based milk. In this soy milk in particular, it's 11 grams of carbohydrate, 8 grams of protein, 25% vitamin D, and 30% calcium. So again, make sure that you're reading the nutrition food label. That's how I'm getting this information about each of these products, and that's a good comparison on what to do, because what I'm telling you here are for these exact products, but also remember that sometimes they may be sweetened, and they will say that on the front, but that's why I want you to look at the nutrition facts label if you don't mark down exactly what I'm talking about here to do. So this is another type of milk. I'm not sure if everybody's heard about this, but oat milk. This is now available at your grocery stores. So 1 cup is 16 grams of carbohydrate, 3 grams of protein, 20% vitamin D, 25% calcium. And something interesting with this oat milk is that there's some added B12, which is something that is helpful if you are on metformin. If you have type 2 diabetes and you are using the medication metformin, it's recommended to have a vitamin B12 supplementation. And also, if you are following a plant-based diet and very limited in your animal protein sources, you may need a vitamin B12 supplementation. So that's an interesting added component to this oat milk. But note that it's higher in carbs than the almond milk and much lower in protein than the soy milk. Okay. Next up is a flax milk. And there is 1 gram of carbohydrate, so very low in carbohydrates, 8 grams of protein, 25% vitamin D, 30% calcium, and there is also some B12 added to this product. There is pea protein, peas like in peas, protein added to this flax milk, and that's how they were able to get the 8 grams of protein, equal to a glass of dairy milk. So low in carb and a good source of protein there. And then this final plant-based milk that I wanted to talk about is a pea protein milk. This has 2 grams of carbohydrate, 8 grams of protein, 30% vitamin D, and 45% calcium. So even more calcium than the dairy milk. Again, this one is lower in carb with only 2 grams, a good source of protein with 8 grams, just like the flax milk having 8 grams, and the soy milk has 8 grams of protein. To summarize, all of these plant-based milks have been fortified with vitamin D and calcium, which is a good thing. Some of them have higher protein than others, so that's something that you want to look at. Some have higher carbohydrate than others. That's another point that you want to look at, because for people with diabetes, we need to fit that into our meal plan. These are all good alternatives for people that are lactose intolerant. So that's another positive from these plant-based milks. And we're going to talk later on in the season more about plant-based, because there's lots of benefits from using plant-based. Lots of great research. So here's to your health.